without pies, there would be no circles. So yeah, we would no pizza, no pie, no cake. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so square pies.
I made an adjustment to the website, but I also want to encourage that we like start evolving this website, y'all. Like, so if y'all have ideas for design or whatever, Jackie, you're a good designer too, you know. But I added this nuance that if you click this, it opens up this, right? So, you know, so maybe even that, maybe like something to think about in redesigning this, that like we can have a few like Easter eggs kind of like that like go to the different jot forms, or maybe we have jot forms that are specific for fire, water, air, earth, right? So we can start like, you know, how people are entering into the space through the jot form could also be nuanced, right?
Yeah, I think if we kind of rethink what we're trying to do with the site too, because I mean, we're talking now about store too, and a few more things that we can kind of bulk up the page. So, and you know, if we can kind of find a way to simplify it easy for people to come in and kind of know what they're looking for, because you know, we've kind of slowly added things as we've kind of built more things.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say that the site looks awesome. Indy, I was searching around it earlier. It seems like there's been a lot of updates, and I went through the folder, the Google Drive resources too. I mean, you guys have so much stuff in there, so that was super, super helpful. I do have a question about the jot form because, so two things. Jot form is amazing. It accepts payments. The integrations are just like absolutely out of control. I've actually started running into like other online platforms using it, and like I'm watching the URL and I'm like, oh my God, it's jot form behind it. So I know you guys have an LLC, and since this is really going to collect data, I'm wondering if there's like an account we should put jot form under that, because right now I'm just using like my Gmail account, but I assume that this data would be in better hands under the, you know.
Yeah, I needed to kind of rebuild. We actually had an old URL, and then we changed to this new URL, and so we're using an email address to really cosmic-lab.me.
Yeah,
So
weird.
So I think yeah, and that's Google based. I mean, we have a lot of Google stuff here, but what I'm looking to do is actually getting a new like, yeah, that should be cosmiclabyrinth.world email address, and then we can do actually forwards for each of us too. So I'm thinking of doing that, and then we'll have like a main account that we should sign everything under for the labyrinth.
Because in good or bad news, no one has filled out the form yet. So they're actually besides our team. So we have no data that like we need to transfer at this point. But
Okay.
moving forward, we probably should, yeah, get on a Cosmic Lab.
Yeah. So it's like I'm on a to-do list of yeah, porting that over. But that's also mean we won't really be accessing Google Drive. So we'll have to rethink of like a cloud service that isn't, you know, trying to mess with us in the AI system.
I've been using it's not as robust as Google, but my business partner Alex and I use Proton Drive, and they have their own drive and mail, and they're obviously high security and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't have the functionality that Google does.
Yeah. Because what's helpful is really all the sharing, because I mean, we can basically all of us, you know, I mean, it's pretty much what we're looking for is that collaborative experience of like everything is collaborative and all of us can access and tweak things. It was meant to be, I guess, where Wiki is, right? Like Wiki was supposed to be collaborative, right?
Which a lot of Web3 teams use Notion. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar or use that.
Yeah, I've used Notion for another venture for sure. It's quite easy, and like you can add and like drop stuff in, but like I feel like Notion's good for like document creating, right?
It's not as visually fun. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we got to definitely revive the Slack flow, and like Charlie, if we can like start like that, like embodying the Slack, like embodying like the like uploading things that are relevant to our agreements, you know, would be good.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to, yeah, organize, because I think right now we have it just really as functional channels, but yeah, we can definitely get to that point. Yeah, we just have to start using Slack a little bit more. I think we just haven't really, we've been still on WhatsApp, which is really for communication, but Slack is more like for, it's really good for like storing documents, URL, anything that's like good for resources.
By the way, Mick, what a nice surprise to have you.
Hi, Mick.
Hey, yeah.
Hi, Mick.
Hey, Tizzle. You're flying high today. That.
Whoa, look at that wind behind you, dude. The tree's like shaking.
Oh yeah. That's the reflection. There's a lot of wind here.
Where are you?
In plant here, and I'm in Taos, New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys get to travel internationally to Mexico? Like I have Canada.
Oh, no, just New Mexico right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
It's same thing. It's all Mexico.
Yeah. So is California, really. Yeah.
So I have a couple of notes that came up, but like I think I want to like loop you guys into like some of the private conversations I've been having with Charlie, in the sense of like thinking about like a marketplace, and how like I mean I can't get over like just wanting to have a t-shirt, at least one t-shirt that I can wear to represent Cosmic Labyrinth when I'm out and about, and just to provoke something provocative, right? I want, right, the trickster in me. But like also like Mick has like those amazing toys that he created, right? So what are like, let's kind of a heartstorm about like what kind of marketplace we can have. Do we have it on Etsy and on Amazon? Do we have couple of different ones? Charlie, what are your thoughts with that? Because I know you had some opinions about that.
Yeah, so I mean, Etsy is great for really our audience for a lot of things, just because we're that niche audience, and then it's also arts and crafty, right? So and then like, so things that you were saying earlier about the children's book, if you did a children's book, then yeah, it makes sense for Amazon. Amazon then is ready more for like now we have to also think like we got to buy these books first before we can actually put it out there. So even then, like if we're ready to go to Amazon, we should have enough capital to be able to buy, a few amount of books. If not, we can start at Etsy, or even do Kickstarter, right? Because there was a whole Kickstarter for some of those books that we talked about, right? So so yeah, I think for us is really just to think about what products we want to really go into, and then start thinking about. So that's why like Mix is kind of ready. And actually, if you guys see, I've been selling the TCM herbs from Cosmic Labyrinth Etsy. So we have an Etsy store kind of running already with the Cosmic Labyrinth. We just have one product on there, so we can just add more products into it. I'll give you the link.
So for example, like this, somebody's selling this toy right on here. It's a 3D printed. What is it? I don't even know. It's just the thing with light on it. Okay, nice. Well, look at those fingernails. So for sure, like like Mick, do you think you could like multi-print that thing, like, or what's your limitation? Do you have any limitations on printing it?
So it kind of becomes a situation where if it becomes a hot item, I need to outsource or like find a place where I can cut them, because I used my work, like to do it. And so if I'm suddenly like printing hundreds of these at my work and making a profit for another organization, then it's a conflict of interest. So yeah, a little bit, yeah. I mean, it was cool for like a launch and everything, and I could probably do another like 30 with them at work for fine. But like after that, I have to figure something else out.
That's cool. That's cool.
So that could be used more for prototyping as we try to figure out like what is it that we're trying to do and package, and then taking it further into like finding an place that we can kind of pay to do the printing.
And we can also like, that's nice to have limited quantity. Like sometimes that's a good thing, right? Because like, you know, especially on Etsy, right? Maybe it creates a little bit more wantability. What is it called, Jackie? Like it creates
Scarcity,
scarcity. That's it. That's the word I was looking for.
scarcity mindset.
Limit like value. It
Here.
adds more value to the things that you do have, right?
Scarcity. Arr.
I mean, I would love us to do some mycelial packaging stuff too. That would be really awesome. If we were
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a later, maybe at a later phase when we actually feel like there's more demand, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you guys have any familiarity with print on order stuff?
Yeah, like us, like t-shirts, custom shirts and such. I've done some. I was looking for like a print company where we could actually like make our own shop, and then they would just, you know, buy the shirts as needed. So if we made like some cool shirts, I think there would be some really fun astrology shirts. Yeah, drop shit. Let me see.
I know a few people that use this printify.com. I can directly ask them what their experience is, but I know 2 people have been using it for like multiple years.
Cool.
You know, it's super sweet too. I don't know if Printify does it, but there's a bunch of services that are offering printing on like metal and like reclaimed wood and sort of like sustainable resources. Artwork looks super dope on metal and some other like materials. So that could be something down the line.
Tizzle, I want to acknowledge what you said about the oil. That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Yes.
Tizzle, when you wrote that, it made me think of back in the day, the Gap scents, when they had like grass and heaven and ohm, and there was a 4th one. Like we could do like a earth, wind, like an element.
I literally, I've been talking with the lady that's been helping me like with my website, but I'm launching like a celestial bodies line based on like the days of the week, because each day of the week is based on a celestial body. And then also my own signature scents that I've just created over the years. And I'm launching all of that, but I was telling her like, yeah, I'm gonna have one about elements, which I already kind of have because of the celestial bodies one that I'm doing. So it's totally in alignment with that. But I wanted to, like, I started to make one for the solstice based on scents like tomato, soil, cucumber, like earthy elemental scents that I was gonna bring. But then I was like, let's wait to do that because there was so much going on and I didn't want to like add in that extra like scents because it was already really intense, but it's still something that's on my agenda to create for us. And then once I create it, you know, I'll get everyone's contact information, and like I have these little vials, like 1 dram that I'll send out to everybody. So like people can give feedback, I can tweak it. And then with that feedback and tweaking it, and then like the intuition I get from all of y'all, then like have us create roller balls like this size, wait, right, 10 milliliter,
Nice.
so that we can sell it online for people who want to smell like cosmic labyrinthers.
We could use it for like some play shops too, like get the smells and then use that in the meditation in the play shop.
Exactly.
I love a good roller ball.
So
Yeah,
Indy, I send a link out to what the Cosmic Labyrinth Etsy page looks like. That's basically just where I'm selling the herb cards. And so the herb cards are kind of like earth, which is all the plants, and so it could be air too, which is a lot of the mental, right, information.
Nice.
Actually, go to
Nice, Charlie.
actually my herb 2 looks a little bit better because I changed the pictures out. So click on Cosmic Labyrinth. Yeah, and then do the second one. Yeah. So you can see the quality is a little bit better.
Nice, getting better every time. So
Yeah. So even just like taking a picture and just videos and such.
so we can easily put like a mix thing on here then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's ready to go. I mean, where it's going right into the bank account already. I've been drop shipping stuff, because I have these on hand, and then I just put it in and ship it. So that's been basically funding everything in the company right now, just the website stuff, all the payment that we've been doing, just kind of. And then yeah, so once I get the third set, I'm gonna start going to schools and start getting it like into the curriculum and being like part of like the textbooks, and then get some cards, right?
Nice. So that's all. So that's also something to think about. Like what would be a good price for mix, or do we play with that first? Like what that would be good to think about.
Yeah.
Um,
So we should probably like plan maybe next week or something, like some heartstorming session for a couple of things, like this because I really wanted to also bring up Tizzle and I were talking about doing like starting the show, right? And so as we're starting a show, we'll now be able to have a digital presence and be able to bring each of us on, have a conversation about what we're doing, and really help us kind of build an audience online, and then get ready for whatever we want to do next. So if you want to do more of the test plot stuff, we could be riling up an audience right now, so that when we're ready, we can show the next kind of location or event that we want to do.
So y'all, I have free, I was telling Charlie this, I have a free membership with these guys. The owner is my friend, and she loves what we do. So every month we have free features on here that are available to us, as long as we do events that are free, right? If we're charging for the event, then we have to pay for the ad, right? But if we don't charge for the event, right, or if that's just like an intro event or like an entry level event, then they'll promote it on here, and they'll promote it in the newsletter. So that's just something to think. We actually got a lot of hits through this actually for the solstice thing. So just letting you know. So we have this every month is available to us. Free advertising in a community that is like already kind of on our vibe.
Love it.
So if Tizzle and Charlie want to host something, let me know, because I can be sending them the event over here, and they can be promoting it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So we're gonna really focus on education in general, and really kind of have like the really tough conversations. Like one of the things I was thinking for like the beginning of the show is like, what are your top 3 issues about frictions about education, and we can take turns sharing that, and then kind of get people talking about it, right? So we can say, hey, add to our chats wherever we're going, and we're definitely going to do a Rumble space first, and then putting also in our own like social media space, so that we can link up to that, and then the Cosmic Labyrinth Instagram too, and then we'll put it on the website as well. So people who have been kind of watching us, now we can send them every time we do a show, it's for them to kind of keep the conversation going. And then I wanted to bring each of us, right? So Indy, Jackie, Mick, like let's bring each of you guys in as like someone that is part of the Cosmic Labyrinth, and what your focus is, So for Indy too, like we can talk more about the laugh yoga and all the different things that you're doing to kind of support each of us, and kind of where this things. And I think Indy is great as like you're basically the on location like trickster energy, right? You go there and you like, so we can add a couple of fun clips of you like going out there, maybe like playing it out in like a location, and then putting it back. We can kind of post it on the show like, hey, check out Indy as he was checking out this festival. And so the idea is we want to actually get like media passes, because then we can go to a lot of these festivals, and then be able to like media passes is where the power's at, because they'll let you in and then you're really talking and really advertising what they're doing, right? And that's for them is free press. And so we're really just going to be a voice for a lot of these really good, awesome like things that are happening that people aren't hearing about.
Yes to that. Heck yeah.
So yeah, that's what we'll be working on.
That actually makes me think. So okay, so if you and Tizzle can get that flowing, that feels better, because it's good that there's a masculine and feminine. I would be even curious to lean in with you, Jackie, for us to have conversations on how we can connect NFTs and cryptocurrency and everything to education, right? And to nature and to regenerative practices, right?
There's that. And then also we should think about, when I do have DAO updates at some point when we get to that tonight, but also like your DAO media group. So, you know, if you're going to have a DAO government, then you need some type of media dissemination that keeps everybody, you know, like a newspaper. So
Are you talking about propaganda?
yeah. It's funny because actually I went through all my old notes of putting a newspaper together, and you know, going through, every newspaper has the same 10 sections to disseminate information. So if we can start organizing our information in whatever feels good for us, but you know, sections sort of, then we'll know who needs to show up where. But when I share some of the DAO stuff with you guys, whenever we get to that tonight, some of this might get addressed actually.
Do you want to do that now? Is anybody, Charlie, can we go there? Tizzle?
Yeah, it's a good segue. Yeah. And now with Jackie with our DAO report.
All right, let's get down. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. So this app called Squads is, well, first of all, I should preface it this way. I'll stop sharing for a second. So I think the best path forward, since we have people that aren't familiar with digital assets, haven't handled wallets or any of this kind of new stuff yet, I think it would be nice to sign up for something as a core team that's sort of a beta, where we can just kind of play with the tools, learn how to vote, learn how to give proposals, things like that. So this app here, Squads, I'm using this with another team actually, and it's fantastic. It's Solana based. So it helps you organize, make decisions, contribute together, ape in together, all these fun things. So it's a multi-signature wallet. So what that means is the wallet. So you can think of a DAO as like a vault. So everything that comes in goes to this vault. And if any of us want to make decisions on it, there has to be a majority threshold to actually allow the vault to disseminate any of those digital assets or let anyone do anything that's in the vault. A lot of DAOs face the problem. They'll say, okay, we need 80% of our members to vote yes, or else the proposal doesn't go through. And a lot of times what happens is only like 8% of the members show up and actually vote. So you can't ever even get to that threshold.
Oh, it's like real politics.
Yeah,
Right.
except they actually don't let you vote if people don't show up or whatever. This is really cool too. So treasury diversification. If all of us even wanted to put something as little as like $10 into Solana and start a treasury, we can actually, you know, and I can start showing you guys a lot of the DeFi stuff. So we can start taking some of that treasury money, like I said, even $5 in Solana, and staking it somewhere so that everyone can understand what yield farming is, which is basically like gaining interest on things. But eventually, as a business, these types of decisions where you want to allocate a specific amount for investments, things like that. And of course, this treasury, another thing to keep in mind is, you know, we're choosing the Solana blockchain right now. Who knows if that's really what we want to go into later. But when we talk about a treasury, you're growing Solana's treasury. So you're not growing Bitcoin, you're not growing Ethereum, you're on Solana. So even a bigger way to think of this is if we go onto the Solana platform, Cosmic Labyrinth is part of the Solana ecosystem. Those are our homies. Those are the people we're sort of, that's who I would be networking with too, because even some of the proposals will be infrastructure based, which will be blockchain specific. So it is, choosing a blockchain is a big decision. But this would be a great one to get started on and get everybody teaching you frameworks. The biggest thing we have to decide on, I will launch the app. So the only thing any of us need is a Phantom wallet. So this is
What's Jackie, do you a Phantom wallet? Oh, these like wallets kind of scare me in the sense that they have to like, they kind of like use your browser, like they like kind of basically like have access to whatever browser you're using. Do you have any recommendations on security for that, or using a certain browser so you don't compromise your emails and passwords and stuff?
So squads you can access, it really seems to be Chrome specific, which a lot of Solana appears to be Chrome specific. I don't know if there's some relationship between Google and Solana going on. Right now at this point, you can also download the app directly to your like iOS or Android. You don't have to use a web browser if you don't want to, which actually the younger generation, honestly, in the tutorials, they all go right to their phones. They don't do browser extensions. So either way you can. At this stage, I wouldn't be too worried about it, because I think the point of what this can really do is just help the core members make decisions, like, you know, something as simple as, I don't know, what do we have, like 6 core members to 10, which is actually a lot for a DAO core, but either way, you know, I could say, hey guys, there's this Solana grant available. Here's all the information. And then we would vote on that. We would all vote on whether we want to accept from this organization or not, or whatever. So those are some things. But the biggest thing we have to answer is when we create the squad, we have to choose a squad type. So we have to be either multi-signature. So that means what I said before, that like we would have to vote to actually unlock the vault. And then there's this teams option, which says codified on-chain membership, tokenless, member-weighted on-chain voting. So what that means is that your wallet address is your governance. So as long as you have an active wallet address, you can vote. This is good for experimenting, I think. I need to look into both of these options a little bit more. I think I'm going to suggest we go with this teams one for our core. But what's really great is, I lost it. Here we go. This article I'm going to forward to all of you guys too. This is amazing. This goes over absolutely everything. These people have really put a lot of time into studying what has gone wrong in DAOs up until this point. So what's really nice is they really walk you through, like, okay, you set up your squad, now everyone's on, and now you want to do trustless joint ventures, collective, like I really think they've done a good job with this. So this is the one I'm going to like push for. It takes about 10 minutes to set up. As soon as I have your wallet addresses, we can go. So it's really just up to how fast we want to get the core member up and running.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even something that next week we can.
Yeah, would setting up a wallet be something where all of us walking through would be better? Or do you think like it's pretty self-explanatory setting?
I will make myself available. It is very self-explanatory.
Okay.
I said in the last one, like if you download the app on your phone, you will have a wallet within 20 seconds.
Okay.
The most important thing, like I said before, and just for everybody that's watching this on the replay, is that you don't screenshot or digitally save your seed phrase. So that you all should handwrite that down and have some sort of option. Another thing that just came up in the other DAO I was working with is all of us have to have an emergency contact if one of us tragically dies or something like that. Like you can actually hold up the entire voting process because no one can kick that wallet off or access that wallet. So there has to be some type of security measure in like when that seed phrase can be allowed, things like that. There's some interesting things to think through. As
people have lost like millions, like there's like millions are like, what? We don't know, can't get it.
Yeah. Personally, I have a family member that we mail each other our paper stuff too. I shouldn't say that. Never mind. It's a
Wait,
dog.
who's that?
It's an animal. You don't know him. Don't worry about it.
Tizzle, she means the Phantom wallet, the Phantom app.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, the Phantom wallet stores the crypto.
Yeah, your Phantom wallet. So your wallet is basically your login credentials to Web3. So
Oh,
instead of entering like a
interesting.
username and password, like you guys just saw me like connect to the website, like that's how you get around Web3.
Oh, okay, so that's the protocol.
But we should also, and this is all stuff I have in a running document that I'm going to send out to you guys. I would suggest you use a Solana wallet that you don't use for other websites, because one of the worst things you can do in Web3 is connect to a site that accesses your wallet and puts viruses and malware and all sorts of stuff like that. So you don't ever want to connect to an untrusted site. And that's why we should all devote one wallet that is only for connecting to squads, and we don't connect to anything else from that wallet.
That's what I was looking for right there. That's
Yeah.
how we can keep it
Oh,
safe.
okay, that's what you meant. Got you.
Makes
Yes.
sense. Okay.
Then
So
you
then
have-
we would have a personal wallet separate then, right? And you keep this
Yes.
wallet just
So
for like,
even when you download like a Phantom wallet, or for Ethereum, you would get a MetaMask wallet. You can have multiple digital wallet addresses. So it's like having a Google account, but having multiple Google email addresses. So you have one Phantom wallet, but within it, it has multiple addresses that you can toggle between for whatever purpose you want.
oh, okay. So you just have, okay, so I can have just one wallet instead of having multiple wallets for like my personal stuff.
Yes, it's
Okay.
a lot more organized than email, actually. So yeah.
Okay.
I can't even figure out where my regular wallet is.
This is a meta wallet.
Somebody put a digital wallet on my real wallet, so I know where it is. Okay, cool, sweet. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
And the fact that you brought up Squad and you brought up a tool, basically it's a software that we can start to role play both our archetypes, but also we can start role playing what we want to do with Cosmic Labyrinth ourselves, right? I think whenever you're trying to develop something, you have to do it yourself, right? Otherwise, it's like there's no point in getting other people to do something. So that kind of brings up what's over my shoulder over here. If you guys can see, I was talking to Mick about this, but I kind of want to keep the regenerative flow going with this. And so Jackie, you bringing up squads brings up this thing. Do you guys see this snaky thing here? Let me spotlight you guys over here. So do you guys see this snaky thing over my head? See a snaky? See how it's snaky?
Oh yeah, like running parallel to the road.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's like this like natural walkway path, right? That goes down Culver Boulevard in Marina del Rey. And Marina del Rey is kind of special because it's near the ocean. If I zoom out for you guys, the ocean is right there, right? So it's got like this beautiful marine layer that comes in every day. It's a little bit more wet much more wet than the place that we were at the other day, where we did the soil testing. And I kind of was contemplating maybe that's a good thing to put in the squad is actually putting this, let's see, can I get a 3D view over here? So I zoom in. So you can see it's actually like it's this walkway. Now there's a lot of homeless folk kind of setting up shop there right now, just because it's like that's obviously what's going to happen eventually. But there's also like water running there. The city has set up water sprinklers, but nobody's really tending it. Like it's kind of like just doing its own thing right now. And there's some like Mick was telling me there's some of the grass. What do they call it, Mick? The grass?
Bermuda grass. It's like very, very invasive. Yeah, just grows really quickly.
So I already have been kind of talking to neighbors, and some of the neighbors have kids that are like Girl Scouts, and they're like, the Girl Scouts are already volunteering with tree people, and they want to do something this summer more than just tree people. They want to do something in their neighborhood. And so I was like, so that could be a proposal for a squad that I can put in when we get that going, is like, hey, I want to do this project in Marina del Rey to kind of create like a fruit forest walkway, right? And we start with, a couple of plots. And maybe we start with a sacred ceremony, Tizzle, first, right? To like honor the feminine and do something sacred first, like some sort of prayer, even if it's just you and me, Tizzle, right? Just something, right? And then we can do what we did the soil cyst thing. We can do the same thing in August because Mick will be back. So the second week of August, we can do another kind of like activation thing as well on the spot. But I can start doing the project now. Mick and I are already talking about it. There's some spots right now that I can already start getting people to like volunteer as a support, because we got a bunch of people that message us after our event and they're like, oh, that was great. How do we do stuff with you guys now? So
Indy, I'd love to. Oh wait, sorry, Tizzle, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm super down. And let me know what time for tomorrow, and then we'll link in real life.
for sure. What's up, Jack?
So, yeah, over the weekend, a really cool development happened. I've been working with my SCORE mentee since January, this woman, Carla, she's amazing. And she just got cleared. She finally moved her first, she helps like, abused women and just women that need support. She gives them a house to live in. They eventually pay rent. She's in her 50s and has worked with aged out foster youth, all that kind of stuff. And so she also works with a school too. But anyway, long story short, she has this house and then a plot of land, and she wants to institute a gardening program with the women for them to like, because some live there for 4 months, some live there for a year, some are only there 3 weeks, like depends on the situation. She set up as a nonprofit. So I really like, we talked about it. I was like, Carla, this is amazing. I want to help out. But I'm not going to lie to y'all. I've never grown a vegetable in my life. I have house plants, but I have no vegetable skills whatsoever. Grew up in a food desert, processed all that stuff. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, this is exactly why I'm hooked up with Cosmic Labyrinth, because all of these people have these resources and can help me, even just figure out an infrastructure of like, how many boxes do I need? What kind of vegetables can I grow? So I would love for this to be like a sub DAO sub community, whatever, that I, can contribute and bring in and tie myself to all the stuff tether myself to everything that's going on. But also it's a really good decentralized model that we can give to anyone and say, hey, do you want to do this in your city? Here's the Cosmic Labyrinth blueprint for setting up a community garden or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
First, make a labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I should do, Mick. I should do that first.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll start. Yeah, I could definitely show you guys how to do it. It's pretty easy. It's fun.
This may be a dumb question, but in the interest of just everybody and myself here now, what is the purpose for starting with a labyrinth? What's the significance?
Energetically creating a vortex.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and then it attracts a lot of people. What we saw when we had it, people were just attracted to it. People wanted to ask about it. And so it was a natural way of like getting people, it was such an easy way to talk to people because people were just drawn to it. So if you put that there in a local neighborhood, people will ask about it. Like have you seen Westworld? Like it's a very deep, like spiritual concept, the idea of the labyrinth. It's like when you're ready for it, you will go through the journey. So when you see it, it usually triggers something in people, the people that are ready to see it. And so they walk it as if it's their journey, right? So it's a metaphor to that. So I know it's really interesting that people always, for some reason, get triggered by it.
It's also very like, just like fruits and vegetables in nature and how they look like parts of our body that, they mimic parts of our body that they're good for, right? Like if you ever look at a walnut, the seed, if you look at that, it kind of has a labyrinthy look. So our brain is labyrinthy. When you take a brain out of its skull, it's like literally a labyrinth, right? So there might be something, our intestines are a labyrinth, right? So there might be something going on there in the sense of a labyrinth being helping us reconnect with what's within us. even physically, not even metaphysically.
Yeah, just walking it is like usually just a really like deep meditation within. Oh, so you didn't actually hear my I did a thing for everybody explaining the labyrinth because on the day of the event. And the idea is there's only one, and so what's particular to labyrinth compared to a maze is a labyrinth has only one way in, one way out. That means you don't get lost. That means the only journey in is the only journey out. That means it's the same journey of within to meditate and become yourself in the middle where you're unhindered by outside forces. And then you then walk the journey X to the back out to the world. So that's kind of like how we do your Dharma, right? You do your Dharma, which is your mission in life, once you know who you are. So that's the idea of the one journey in to within, one journey or one path out. And so what's great is what I particularly like doing it is I've been to the one in Sedona. There's I forget what it's called, Angel Valley. And there was a labyrinth there. And so a few people were doing the labyrinth. And what was really beautiful about it is it's, remember, one path in, one path out. That means everyone is on the same path. And what would happen is people would link up depending on where they're on the path, and they will greet each other as if like they were meeting like star-crossed lovers. That's the idea of you meet people on your path, and sometimes like you'll go together on the path and then you'll split up and then you eventually meet, but everyone meets in the middle. And that's the idea that we're all connected in the middle. So it's just a really just really fun experience to do with people.
And they're like yantras, right? Like labyrinths are like yantras. What we have to be wary though with labyrinths is I think the Greeks, like they hijacked it, or like maybe modern philosophy has hijacked it, and they make it like a puzzle and you got to get away from the Minotaur, and it's like a scary thing. But like that's just the new thing. And most of the culture has like artifacts that are on rocks, and they have like these labyrinths all over the world, from the Mayans to the ancient Indians, to the ancient Egyptians. And it wasn't like a bad thing. The labyrinth was like this amazing thing. All of a sudden the Greek come around and it's like, it's terrifying. Don't get stuck in the labyrinth.
I think it was the Romans. The Romans like changed everything. Yeah, because
But I mean, I think it's also important to recognize the fact that like the labyrinth, if you are not actually doing the inner work and you let something get stuck in it, like the Minotaur, that was the symbolism. So like that was the whole kind of like the king of Crete, right? He like stuck the Minotaur in the labyrinth, and then it became a terrifying place because it was a complex, something that like a trauma in that family's history that was hidden away. So the labyrinth probably was continued to be a sacred place, but then it became a repository of hidden, repressed identities. So the whole idea is if you walk the whole labyrinth with consciousness, then you also release those traumas and kind of stuck things, right? So
you're gonna hug the Minotaur.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Theseus. That whole story is like he had the string that Ariadne gave him to walk all the way through the labyrinth and then find the way out. So it's like the idea of having kind of sense of consciousness about what you're doing, right? So.
And I do think it's the Minotaurs also has a lot of metaphor for it. It was the age of Taurus that happened. So that's why like we remember these consciously, because they're very much like triggers in our consciousness to remember these times. Yeah.
Cool.
Theseus and the Minotaur. I mean, that'd be a really fun skit we can totally like play off and mess around with, right? Like it could be like Indy's the Taurus. He's like trickster energy. It's like tricking you, like, wait, I'm supposed to go there, right? Are you really supposed to go in the middle?
Here, have some pie.
Yeah, here's your phone instead. You really want to go into the middle of the labyrinth? There's a phone right here that could easily distract you.
Here, do an Instagram post with me.
10 hours later.
So I'm glad we shared a couple of those ideas and projects like that can be potential squad flows that we can, or proposals we can do. So that's already, I think I can already imagine that, like even like the different marketplace things we want to do. I want to do like an Oracle card, right? Like thing. So that can also go into those squad proposals, right? Right, Jackie? Like marketplace ideas.
Yeah, and what's cool about it too is like, but when you force yourself, not force, but when we do proposals, people are more apt to say like, oh, hey, I can contribute this to that idea. So you might actually get help along the way that you weren't anticipating.
Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
It's a great way of like, collaborating, sourcing, right? People in each other to kind of build something together. It's like a mini Kickstarter in a way.
So, go ahead,
sorry.
Jackie, please.
Just really quick, like, I'm gonna bring up a terrible word, monetization. Charlie and Tizzle, when it comes to the media, I mean, do you see that as something that could be a potential like revenue partners, advertising partners, or things like that? Is that something you want to explore?
Yeah, I think we definitely could do commercials and even our own commercials, right? Because I'm seeing people now totally doing their own like commercials, which are more meaningful because you want someone to say, hey, no, actually use this. It's really cool. This is what's going on. And, we want to have those kind of brands for sure. And I was thinking like, if we want to do Patreon, we can have more, that's where the play shops. And so we can then say, hey, if you really like us, check out our play shops. We have these great people doing things. And so we can be more of, we interview the people who are throwing play shops. And then people then go through like the Patreon and then like subscribe to us so that they could see the people who are doing the play shop. So we can, it's an opportunity for us to bring them on and then like talk about like what they're doing in, in our Cosmic Labyrinth school.
And the other thing too, Jackie, is like in the meeting last week when you were talking about Chris Travers, right, with Offbeat Media Group, right, and like spook, getting up to like that level of once we build the traction, once we build the audience, because all of us in our different ways draw people to our content. And so once we start collaborating, sharing that content on the social media sites, and like similar to what Indy's like hesitation was with like having so much, like relying on the social media sites, like not necessarily doing that because like we're using Zoom right now, that's what we'll be starting in, but then being able to chop and screw that information up and have it available for TikTok or Instagram or Patreon or Rumble, so that different pockets of people. And then with the podcast element, which is so much broader than just social media, because not everybody has a social media account. Not everybody has, like, is about that life. So yes, branching out and getting monetization, paid partnerships, you know what I mean? Like, imagine a paid partnership with like the organization we were just talking about, Tree, I can't think of it again, I just lost it. But Tree People, right? Like, yo, this is a paid partnership with Tree People because we're out here in Marina Del Rey getting ready to create Cosmic Labyrinth fruit trees for the community so that like once inflation gets off the chain, people have resources to eat.
No, this is the only thing that's going to beat inflation. I don't think inflation is going to just, we're going to have to beat inflation by like showing that like we don't need it, right? We're going to be
100%.
self-sustaining. Yeah. Because I think this is a test for us. It's like, hey, like be self-sustaining, right? That's why like it's showing up in our face. Really, this is our karma coming back at us, right? Being so reliant on a system. And now the system's like, well, we're gonna just go inflation. And now so we're kind of like, that's where we're coming from. It's like, hey, no, let's be sovereign beings. Like we're not afraid to do what we need to survive, or to thrive, actually, to thrive.
I put in the chat the new forum community. So I was on this podcast in March, and they blew me away. First of all, this company, they're a Web3 media generator. They chopped and screwed media in my podcast in so many ways. I think I'm in like 45 different clips across like 4 different social media platforms. So I've been like studying how they are distributing, and it's been, I mean, they got tons of eyes on me that I wasn't expecting. So this is something I'm definitely, I hear you, Tizzle, loud and clear. And yeah, this is definitely ways we can make the most out of content. Like if you tape an hour-long podcast, you can get long form, short form, tons of different platforms out of that. So we'll definitely all work together on that.
Sweet. Is it possible for us to have our like next week or next Tuesday meeting for us to like complete and have up like our squad thing? Like we can do
Totally.
it, we can do it together. We can like fill it out together.
Wait, question.
Oh, go
Andy,
for
when
it.
you say squad, are we having our wallets already done and ready to go by next week? Or are we doing the wallets next week? Just for clarity.
I will send you guys how to do the wallet. And if anyone needs me to do it one-on-one with you, I totally can. I don't anticipate any of you will, but if you do, especially if you do it from mobile, but if you do, I'm totally here. The biggest thing the one question we have to have answered by the time we start the DAO is who is, I don't want to use the word contractually, but it is sort of a contract to join the DAO together. So who are the DAO original founding members? Like we'd have to have that in place by whenever we start the DAO.
So that's
Those
Tuesday.
will be-
That's next Tuesday, basically.
Okay, perfect.
So hopefully we all can make it, whoever can make it, and then we'll go from there, you know?
You won't
Yeah.
need, Tizzle, are you referring to like Solana or like actual funds? You won't need anything to start this.
Well, I remember, wait, earlier you were talking about putting in, wait, no, sorry. What I just commented on was like, yeah, I'm down to be a part of the squads. I don't know, the DAO. Sorry, I'm trying to get better with the language of what to say.
So the squad Tizzle is just like a game that you can play that like allows you to play your DAO, right? The DAO is our like community. So
Okay.
like really we're like the it's just like Slack, right? But it's like it's a integrated with your cryptocurrency space, right? Whereas Slack
Yeah.
is totally separate.
I'm in.
It's
I'm
the
a
part.
DAO is squads will be our on-chain governance. So anything we vote on, all of us will have access to see the data of who voted how and what the decision was and all that stuff. So it's transparent voting at its very core.
So if we call somebody a goat, you know, if we call somebody a sheeple, it's gonna be there forever. So watch who you call it baby kid. Baby goat. A baby goat. Watch what you call it baby goat.
So if we can't make that meeting, is that like a make or break thing? Because I'm gonna be in Italy.
As long as I have the wallet address, I can put you in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Yeah, just let us know. That's good enough. And then also I want to throw that in there too, like just so we're warmed up for it. It's not like random. I don't mind putting in like as like a token of kind of like a token of abundance, right? Token of Lakshmi, of putting in like $11 or $23 into that, like into my wallet or into the DAO. Like I don't mind doing that because I think it has a energetic aspect to it.
Well, I will remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor. However, I will say I believe it personally is a great time to buy things like Solana and invest in them now. Things are very cheap.
Everything.
So
is
actually
cheap.
all of us starting with
Like
an initial
dirt cheap.
investment.
Yeah. like
Yeah,
dirt
if we start
cheap.
with the initial investment of if everyone even aims at like 20, I don't want to presume, but whatever you want to give, but even $20, you know, could 4x or whatever.
So that's another takeaway for next week. So everybody like do your wallet stuff, and Jackie, you can send an email to all of us, and in the WhatsApp too. You can send
Definitely
messages.
consider number magic as you
So
put
think
it
about
in your
number
wallet.
magic. But what I would love for all of us to meditate on is what is our window for that. Like let's all see on our separate ends. Let's all come back together next week and be like, what's our window for that? I'm curious where we all kind of do we all synergize on the same kind of window space or what, you know?
window of initial investment, you mean?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Okay. We're gonna have someone be a crazy outlier, just jack everything.
We are a group of outliers. I mean, this is gonna be the most interesting thing to see, right? Is outliers coming together. We don't have
Certainly.
real Aquariuses, right? Because they're gonna start running. There's like, wait, there's too many people. I need to leave. So Sarissa, come back. I know you're listening. Don't leave yet.
We can retreat to our sub DAOs.
Yeah.
The beautiful irony of the DAO being the DAO, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great because we can have really cool like Taoist conversations too, right? Going back to the DAO. I mean, that's very much my culture and having that conversation on a deeper meaning.
So,
And I don't know where you guys feel on this, and it would be interesting to explore as we go along. But certain conversations like that, I mean, that's stuff that I think you could definitely have private communities for. I think people would definitely want to pay for that type of knowledge and insight and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, with Sizzle and I, we're kind of like just launching to kind of like get going, but we still don't have like a full plan of what we're, all the things we'll be doing because we want to see it as it grow and get more people involved. So if you guys have any ideas of like what you think would be really cool to add to it, like let us know and we can really put that in. But we're definitely gonna lean into the whole the 5 elements, bringing magic and that whole space because we really get to play, like get people really like hyped up about it. So
Tizzle, to answer your question, do we need a Patreon if we have a DAO? I would suggest fully for where this organization is and everything that you continue to gulp up as much fiat as you can. So whether that's Patreon, Venmo, Cash App, whatever, because the more we can convert to crypto. Sorry, I feel like I always feel funny like talking about this stuff. But yeah, I would do a parallel model, especially because we're still transitioning to digital assets.
Yeah, and Mick and I were kind of heartstorming too when we were talking about the project here in Marina Del Rey that like there's a few like local like art community art what is it called, like art studios here, and they're like on the main road, and like I could, and they wanted to host community events, and so we can host a Patreon fundraiser there for this project. So yeah, we should definitely do Patreon because people feel comfortable with it, right? At least for now. The DAO can also be a separate conversation in DAO spaces, right? Like I just got invited to something on Thursday where it's like a bunch of ape, what do they call stone ape? What are they called, Jackie? The ape people?
Bored apes.
So they invited me to some gathering in Venice, and so like that's where we would talk about the DAO more than the Patreon, So.
What I noticed with squads too is they actually suggest that your core squad stay a core squad, and that you actually like that's your decision-making squad, but you open a different, like a larger squad for your public community.
Like circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that literally comes from just a lot of, I mean, there's literally only 18 months of quote DAO history to look at. But from what people have looked at so far, the same common governance issues are coming up because that's economics, but.
And culture. People don't
Yeah.
have, people are doing DAOs and they don't actually have culture, like literally.
Right.
They have crypto bro culture. How can you deny it?
Oh, yeah. Look at my onesie. Look at my onesie. I'm so cultured.
Bye, Mick.
Bye, Meg.
Okay, cool. So is that our business and a flow and abundance conversations? Are we good with that? Should we shut off the recording?
Yeah, I'm good.
Tizzle,
Yes.
Jackie, any other business stuff? We're good? All right. So
Bye, everyone.
So where do I
Bye.
go?